Hey everyone, how's it going? So last week I did fun fact about the most handsome man in the Bible. So I figured it would only be fair to talk about the most beautiful women in the Bible. Now, the most beautiful woman in the Bible is harder to decide. There's not a flat out, she was the most beautiful, as we have with the men. The men, they do list other handsome men, like David was handsome, Joseph was handsome, but Absalom and Saul were called the most handsome man in the land. So that made it easier. Um, if we start at the beginning, we have, like chronologically, we have Sarah. So Sarah was known for her beauty. She was so beautiful that when she and Abraham were about to enter the land of Egypt, Abraham asked her to say that she was his sister. Now, technically, she was his half sister, also. We won't get into all that. But he was like, "You're so beautiful that when the Egyptians see you, they're going to just kill me and take you for their own." So she agrees, and the Egyptians see her and say, go to their pharaoh, and they're like, "This woman is gorgeous. You need her for part of your harem. Like you're gonna want to see her." So he sees her and he's like, "Oh yeah." So he takes her as part of her harem. There's a story about where God comes to Pharaoh and he's like, "What are you doing? You're with another man's wife." And Pharaoh's like, "Whoa! He said that was his sister. I didn't touch her." Like type of thing. God's like, "Give her back." Pharaoh's like, "Will do." So, but here's the interesting about that is that Sarah, based off calculations about how old Abraham was at the time, and she was about 10 years younger than he was, she was at least 65. Okay, not that we don't have beautiful members of the AARP. That's not what I'm saying here. But she was so beautiful and out, but still older, and the pharaoh still wanted her. I mean, usually the kings are taking young women, right? Young, beautiful women. So Sarah was obviously a stunner that, and her beauty didn't age with her, right? Rebecca, her daughter-in-law, was also very beautiful and had the same thing happen to her, like father, like son. Isaac went to Egypt, told her the same thing happens, right? So Rebecca was obviously extremely beautiful. Now, Rachel, Rebecca's daughter in law, via Jacob, was also beautiful, but it says that she was both beautiful in form and face. So she had it going on. Okay? Job's daughters, after the whole mess that Job goes through, and God gives him back everything, like multiple times fold, he gives him more daughters, and it says that Job's daughters were beautiful and wanted by all the men in the land. Abigail, we find in First Samuel, I believe. No, maybe Second Samuel. But we find in Samuel. Abigail, she was the wife of Nabal before she became the wife of David, and when it's describing Nabal, it's describing him as a horrible man, and it describes Abigail as both good and beautiful. Okay, and she was beautiful in form, so it wasn't she just had a pretty face. Like she she was a stunner. But and the cool thing was it lists that she was also good. That doesn't mean these other women were bad, but like she was so good that like that quality shone with her next to being so beautiful. So that's pretty cool. Okay, Bathsheba. So most people claim that Bathsheba was so gorgeous. You know, David couldn't help himself. Bathsheba is the woman that David committed adultery with. Though one would have to argue he is the king, and did she really have a choice? But he did kill her husband in trying to cover up his sin. Uh, but when you look up we translate it to the word beautiful, but when you look up the original word, it just says that she was good in appearance. So she was pretty. But these other women that I've talked about so far, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, Job's daughters, Abigail, they all use the word beautiful. Okay? Then there's, I'm probably going to say her name wrong. Her name is Abishag. So she's described in First Kings. And this woman probably was extremely beautiful. She was a young woman, and they searched throughout the whole land of Israel for her, for a beautiful woman to come. And basically, she was King David's Snuggie. Okay, he was old and he couldn't get warm, and so they found a young, beautiful woman to lie in bed with him and keep him warm. Says he didn't do anything else with her. She was just his human blanket. But it says they searched the whole land for a beautiful woman to do this, and she won. Um, Also, with David's peeps, so Absalom's sister, and we talked about it last time. So Absalom was one of the most beautiful, handsome men in the Bible. His sister Tamar was also known for her beauty, and then Absalom had a daughter who he named Tamar, and she was also beautiful. What's interesting is it doesn't list Absalom's mother as beautiful; just lists her name. But there's got to be some serious genetics going on. So either the Bible just kind of downplays how handsome David was, or they just won some genetic lottery on that. And then when we go to the book of Esther. So some people call her Vashti, some people call her Vashti. I go with Vashti. So Vashti was the queen of Persia. And so the book of Esther opens with the king of Persia throwing a feast that lasts like weeks, to show off how rich he is and how much he has, and that he has the best of the best. So somewhere within his drunken stupor of this weeks on of drinking and partying, he's like, oh, no, guys, I have the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. And he calls for his wife, and he's like, babe, come out. I want you to show the men how beautiful you are. And she's like, no, no. This is not what's happening. So, so he exiles her. It doesn't work out well for her, but she kept her dignity, right? And so, but that woman had to be gorgeous. I mean, he's showing off his highest possessions, his most prized treasures, and he's like, not thinking and completely drunk, is like, I'm going to show my men how beautiful my wife can be, right? But when you take the step back and look at it that way, she had to be drop dead gorgeous. So the king gets all depressed, and his advisor's like, we need to find you a new queen. This is what needs to go on. So the Bible tells us that they start searching throughout all of Persia and the lands that Persia owns for a beautiful woman. And so that's where Esther comes on the scene. So Esther is one of the Jews who's in exile in Persia. And it says that she was both beautiful in form and form and face. But it says she was very beautiful. And she does become the queen. So, I mean, it is a beauty contest, but it's not just a beauty contest. They had to spend a night with the king also. And of course, she had God's favor on her life. But you have to think, like, this king had the most beautiful woman in the land, and he messed up. So Esther had to be drop dead gorgeous to compete with that. And it tells us she was just beautiful. She was very beautiful in both form and face. However, for me, I think I'm going to go with Sarah as the most beautiful woman in the Bible, because her beauty did not decline with age, and that kings were stealing her. Even as an old woman, they're like, I want that one. So I don't know, what's your guys' thoughts? Who do you think would have been the most beautiful on that? Obviously, it's not like an important biblical debate. It's just really interesting to see, what gets highlighted and who gets highlighted and for what and how. If you guys like the videos, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my videos so you can hear more. All right, put comments down, guys. Let me know what you're thinking. Have a good day. Talk to you later. Bye.